Welcome to Alpha Traveler. My name is Mazen Al-Angary, and today I'll be taking you to Prague. Prague, or as known as Praha in Czech, is the capital and largest city of the Czech Republic. It is also the historical capital of Bohemia. Bohemia, in case you didn't know, is the region in the Czech Republic which is neighboring to Bavaria, in a border meaning, of course. It often refers to the entire Czech territory. Now back to Prague. It is believed that the city was called Praha as an association with the word pra, that means threshold, which is an entrance on the river. Prague is home to a number of famous cultural attractions, many of which survived the violence and destruction of the 20th century Europe. Main attractions include the Prague Castle, the Charles Bridge, the Old Town Square, with of course the Prague Astronomical Clock. I'll be taking you to all of these places in this video and much more. In 1992, the extensive historical center of Prague has been included in the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. Today, I'll take you on a short walk within the nearby area, and this is what I like the most about Prague, is how close everything is if you would like to walk around. So let's cover the east side first, then I'll bring you back to explore the west side of the city. To the east and a short walk away, we can reach the Powder Tower or Powder Gate. It is one of the original 13 city gates in Old Town Prague. Construction began in 1475. The tower was intended to be an attractive entrance to the city instead of a defensive tower. The foundation stones were placed by Vladislav II. The city council gave Vladislav II the tower as a gift. The gate was used to store gunpowder in the 17th century, hence the name Powder Tower or Powder Gate. In front of us, we can see the Astronomical Clock of Prague, or Luge. The clock was first installed in 1410, making it the third oldest astronomical clock in the world and the oldest one still working. The horloge is mounted on the southern wall of the Old Town City Hall in Old Town Square. The clock mechanism itself is composed of three main components: the astronomical dial representing the position of the sun and moon in the sky and displaying various astronomical details. The Walk of the Apostles, a clockwork hourly show of figures and apostles and other moving sculptures, notably a figure of death represented by a skeleton strikes the time. And of course a calendar dial with medallions representing the months. According to local legend, the city will suffer if the clock is neglected and its good operation is placed in jeopardy. Right next to the astronomical clock, you will find the Tourism Information Center, where you can get a lot of information about the city, plus you can plan and book your tours. Since we are here, I would like to bring an important issue to your attention when visiting Prague. When it comes to exchanging money, some visitors think that since the Czech has joined the European Union, yet they don't use the euro, as many people believe. They have their own currency called Czech koruna, since most of the Czech population was not in favor of adopting the euro. As I have been moving around this beautiful city, I have noticed that many people on the streets were offering money exchange. What I have learned is that they would get a very high commission from you if you do it that way. The best thing to do is to exchange your money at one of the exchanges or exchange stores that have no commission. But to be on the safe side, before exchanging any amount, read all about the information, about the exchange rate list, and take your time. If you find that there is something that you don't understand or is unclear, you can ask and don't hesitate to do that. Before we move on, let's grab a quick bite. Treadlink, which is a traditional Slavic sweet pastry originally coming from Transylvania in Romania. It is made from rolled dough that is wrapped around a stick, then grilled and topped with sugar and walnut mix. Nowadays, Treadlink is very popular among tourists as a sweet pastry. I would highly recommend trying this divine dessert. Now let's move on. We have a boat to catch. While visiting the historical center of Prague, we must get a short river ride on the Vltava River, the longest river within the Czech Republic, running along the Bohemian forest. These boats are fully wooden, old-style boats that are heated by an authentic boat stove. While enjoying the view on the boat, you will listen to one of 6 symphonic poems composed by Bedřich Smetana, who was a Czech composer that pioneered the development of a musical style that became closely identified with his country's aspirations to independent statehood. He is thus widely regarded in his homeland as the father of Czech music. Now that we are rested and relaxed, let's take a stroll on the Charles Bridge, a famous historical bridge that crosses the Vltava River in Prague. Its construction started in 1357 by King Charles IV and finished in the beginning of the 15th century. The bridge replaced the old Judith Bridge built in 1158 that had been badly damaged by the floods in 1342. This new bridge was the only means of crossing the river back then. It was the most important connection between Prague Castle and the city Old Town Square on the other side. This connection made Prague an important trade route between Eastern and Western Europe. The bridge has 30 statues. They depict various saints and patron saints. To many tourists, what makes this a very special bridge is the views you would get of Prague from any side of it. We will now visit Prague Castle, which is a castle complex in Prague. It dates back to the 9th century. The castle has been a seat of power for kings of Bohemia, Holy Roman Emperors and Presidents of Czechoslovakia, and is the official residence and office of the President of the Czech Republic. The Bohemian crown jewels are kept within a hidden room inside its walls. The Guinness Book of Records lists Prague Castle as the largest ancient castle in the world. It occupies an area of almost 70,000 square meters, which is a little over 17 acres. The castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It consists of a large-scale composition of palaces and buildings of various architectural styles, from Roman-style buildings from the 10th century through Gothic modifications in the 14th century. Prague Castle includes the Gothic St. Vitus Cathedral. The St. Vitus Cathedral is an excellent example of Gothic architecture and is the biggest and most important church in the country, located within Prague Castle and containing the tomb of many Bohemian kings and Holy Roman Emperors. The cathedral is under the ownership of Czech government as part of the Prague Castle complex. Nowadays, most of the castle areas are open to tourists and visitors. During your visit to Prague Castle, don't miss out on watching the ceremonial change of guards, which take place during noontime at the first courtyard and includes a fanfare and the flag ceremony. The Castle Guard is a specific unit of the armed forces of the Czech Republic, directly subordinate to the military office of the President of the Czech Republic. The Castle Guard service personnel are selected and recruited from the armed forces of the Czech Republic and is an all-voluntary service. The Castle Guard's mission is based on assignment to perform external security tasks to guard the Prague Castle, provides its defense and performs external security, plus organize and perform military honors, primarily in official visits by other states' representatives and honorary escorts and funeral functions in the whole territory of the Czech Republic. Before we move on, let's try a treat. The Midovnik cake is an old Bohemian homemade honey cake from a traditional family recipe found in Czech Republic and Russia. It is made of wheat, white sugar, eggs, butter, honey, milk, walnuts, and cinnamon. It can be stored in a fridge for up to 3 months and can be considered as a full meal. Now that we are ready to continue our day trip, let's move on to Petrin Lookout Tower. In 1889, members of the Club of Czech Tourists visited the World Exposition in Paris and were inspired by the Eiffel Tower. They collected sufficient amount of money, and in March 1891, the building of the tower started and was finished in 4 months only. The Petrin Lookout Tower is 63.5 meters tall steel framework tower in Prague, which strongly resembles the Eiffel Tower. Although it is much shorter than the Eiffel Tower, it stands atop a hill Petrin, making the top at a higher elevation than the Eiffel Tower. The tower was used as an observation tower as well as a transmission tower. Today, it's a major tourist attraction. The hill is roughly a half-hour walk up path served by funicular, and if you have bought any public transportation tickets, you can use those to get a ride. The 2 observation platforms are accessible via 299 steps running around the inside of the structure. The tower has an elevator for disabled people as well, although it is a climb but worth your while since you can see the whole of Prague from the top. This brings us to the end of our trip to Prague. But what I can conclude is that this small city surprised me with its coziness. I have never expected it to be so sophisticated as well organized. The people were friendly and very helpful, with a very high level of education. Overall, it's not costly to stay in Prague. I remember having a full 3-course meal for about $18 or less. If you are looking for a relaxed, easygoing trip, then Prague should be high on your list. Prague will always have a special place in my heart, since I consider it to be the heart of Europe.